Alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa azwajihi wa dhurriyyatihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Ba'd a'udhu billahi minash shaitani rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Qala Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala: ما أصاب من مصيبة في الأرض ولا في أنفسكم إلا في كتاب من قبل أن نبرأها إن ذلك على الله يسير لكي لا تأسوا على ما فاتكم ولا تفرحوا بما آتاكم والله لا يحب كل مختال فخور. From Surah Al-Hadid, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that there is no affliction that takes place on the earth or within yourselves except that it's in a kitab, yani that it is recorded. It is something that is pre-established. Min qabli an nabra'aha, before we bring this thing into being. Inna dhalika ala Allah yasir, and this is something that is extremely easy for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without any doubt whatsoever. Likay la ta'asaw, so that you do not become sad, you do not grieve over what has ala ma fatakum, ala what is past you, what you've lost. وَلَا تَفْرَحُوا, and do not become pleased, do not become happy بِمَا أَتَاكُمْ, with what has come to you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not love those who are proud, vainglorious, and boasters, braggarts. Everything that is happening, everything that is occurring right now is only because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is the qadr of Allah, and there is absolutely no doubt about this. Nor there should be any doubt. There should be a pure yaqeen in the heart of each and every believer during this time of difficulty or whether we are in a time of ease and comfort. But these changes, they are determined and they are decreed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The question for us is, how do we respond? As we are going through very specific changes in our lives and our lifestyles, and it is happening whether you are Muslim or you are non-Muslim. These changes demand something different from us because we've become used to our routines. We've become habituated to a certain pattern, a daily, weekly, even monthly or annually, yearly pattern. And now this disturbance in that pattern has caused a lot of people to go into a state of anxiety, some people depression, worry, stress, grief, and a sense of what do I do now? It's not so much about what we do now, but it's what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala want us to do now. That is the issue. Even with Salatul Jumu'ah, of course, and understandably so, there's no doubt about it that it's heartbreaking not to be able to come to the masjid for Salatul Jumu'ah. But this is not a new situation. This is not a new thing for us. Whether historically and dealing with widespread issues, sicknesses, plagues, or other socially disturbing events which now cause Salatul Jumu'ah to now not take place, or whether it's in our own personal lives. For instance, when we're traveling. So when we're traveling, we don't pray Salatul Jumu'ah. We don't even pray the full Salatul Dhuhr at that time. We just pray 2 rakats. We're in Safar and we do qasr, even of Salatul Dhuhr, and we go on about our business. Because this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from us at that time. So based on what Allah wants from us at that time, this is how we act and this is how we react. And we're completely okay with that. Because Allah Ta'ala has now presented us a situation. Allah doesn't want any haraj for us. Allah doesn't want us, to put us into any difficulty. Allah wants ease for us. So in this situation, to bring ease not just upon ourselves, but upon the whole of the society, the whole of the community, given the specifics of the circumstances. What is required from us is that we don't have Salatul Jumu'ah. This is not something that we should be happy about, but it is something that we should accept because it is coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this is what Allah wants from us. So when somebody asks us the question, why am I doing X, Y, and Z? And I say, well, I do it for the pleasure of Allah. That's our common answer, right? That's our cookie cutter answer. I'm doing it for the pleasure of Allah. So when I'm saying I'm doing it for the pleasure of Allah, then it must be the way that Allah wants. I can't say that I'm doing something for the pleasure of Allah, but I do it the way that I want. And that's the key factor. And this is the reason why we have the Quran. This is the reason why we have the Sunnah of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we have our rich history of fiqh and fatawa and understanding and the development, mashallah, and the maturation of these specifics within the deen itself, so that we understand now, mashallah, what does Allah Ta'ala want from me in this given situation. Whether it's myself individually, my family, my community, the society, the ummah as a whole in this situation. Now, that being said, what do? How do we approach this? How do we tackle this new situation that Allah Ta'ala has presented us with? Well, this is a start. It's not a khutbah, but again, it does serve that stand in place of that weekly reminder that hopefully we all get benefit from, first and foremost myself. But also those things that we make excuses for now, right? I'm too busy because of work, and I have this and I have that, and I'm so busy I don't have time to read Quran. I don't have the time to make dhikr. I don't have time to memorize Quran. I don't have time to learn du'as. I don't have time to spend with my family. I don't have time to get up for tahajjud. I have to go to work in the morning. So all of these things were now that routine, that habituated way of life has now that we have used that as our excuse that, oh no, because of this I can't do X, Y, and Z, again, for the pleasure of Allah. Those excuses have now, Allah Ta'ala has removed those excuses. So now this is where you and I, we find out whether or not we are actually true to our word. Was it really because of my schedule, because of my work, because of my own self-justifications? Or is it because of my laziness? Is it because of my own lack of will and strength in regards to now truly wanting to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Is there some other alternative reason that I am not able to engage in now these a'mal that we know are going to bring about the rahmah of Allah? Because this is not about our personal situation anymore solely and singularly, but this is also about us attracting the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when we're in this situation where now we have this widespread issue, we have this pandemic, we have this illness that is indiscriminate. It doesn't matter what country you're in, how old you are, if you're male, if you're female, if you're educated or uneducated, it is coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So now in this situation, do we do what is necessary to engage and to attract the rahmah of Allah? Do we engage these mechanisms that exist already in our deen to attract the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? If not, why not? So if nothing else, this is an absolutely keen opportunity for us to do some introspection, some self-analysis, to look in ourselves and ask, what's really going on with me? Allah Ta'ala is now bringing about a sort of pause for like whatever is going to happen with the financial situation and everything in the external world. But one truth remains, and this illness, this virus, is bringing that to the forefront, and that is our mortality. So regardless of what's going to happen with the world and with the society and with the economy and finances, what is being brought to the forefront is our own mortality, that we're all going to die. And now that I'm being forcefully cut off from my routine, what's going on with me and my relationship with my Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Am I engaging? Am I those du'as that are from the sunnah of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Am I reading more Quran? Am I getting up for tahajjud? Am I doing all of those things which I know are going to attract the rahmah of Allah, that are going to bring the ease from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? If not, again, then the question for us really is why not? Over and above everything else, what am I going to do about this virus, and what am I going to do about that, and what am I going to do about my finances, and what am I going to do about my work? If we get lost in that, then that in itself is indicative and is a very strong symptom of our attachment to this dunya, our state of ghafla, heedlessness and obliviousness, if this situation doesn't wake us up, if it doesn't shake us and bring our own mortality to the forefront and our meeting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and our eternal existence with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if this doesn't do it, then again we have another question. What will? What will? All the excuses are being removed. All the self-justifications are being removed. And we are now humbled. As the human race, we are now humbled in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As Muslims, we are truly blessed because we have this ni'mah of Islam. Alhamdulillah ala ni'mati al-Islam. We have this ni'mah of Islam. We have this kalima la ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, which means we have the truth, which means that we have the solution in our hands. We have the solution in front of us. So if we, those who hold and possess the solution, if we don't activate it and we don't put it into practice, then what will be our excuse in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on Yawm al-Qiyamah? And how will we answer now to the non-Muslims who we see are panicking and are frantic about what to do? It is our responsibility as the Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to act as an example, and to, even in this situation, to be a means of attracting the rahmah of Allah and hidayah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bring us ease in this situation. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us of our shortcomings and our sins. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect our families, to protect our communities, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala use this situation to bring about a positive outcome. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as always, that He guide us and use us as a means of hidayah for the whole of the humanity. Jazakumullahu khairan jazaa wa akhiru da'wan an alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.